Howdy, y'all. I'm Kurtis Sunset.
And I'm Leah Halston.
And this is Weathering Rainbows. Howdy, y'all, and welcome back to episode 9 of season 2 of Weathering Rainbows. On this episode, we're going to have a pretty cool guest that has interviewed far more people than we have. I think he's close to 500 now across the globe. We're getting closer and closer to Valentine's Day. So I thought it would be fun to tell stories of like our first kiss or a funny kiss or, something on those lines.
A gross kiss.
It could be a gross kiss. Maybe someone didn't know how to kiss yet. You never know. So,
well, why don't you go ahead and kick that off, sir?
All right. I'm gonna go with the story of my first kiss, which was with a girl. My very first kiss, I believe I was 17. Which is pretty late, but like if you think about it, I was not attracted to girls, so I was not wanting to kiss any. But I took this girl on a date. Guess where my date was?
Where?
I mean, I'm in a rural area, so guess where the date was?
Was this Owensboro?
It was in more of a rural area than Owensboro.
Okay. Destination unknown.
Yeah. Yes. So I actually took this date to the rodeo.
Ooh.
Wore cowboy boots and, a country hat and took her to the rodeo.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had like a pickup truck at that point in time. It was, I was country as could be.
Oh yeah, you would. The kind I like.
But I took her to the rodeo, and then afterwards, took her home, and I was like really nervous because I was like, shit, I've got to do this. I've got to kiss her. Like, I can't just not kiss this date. And so I was like, okay, we're pulling up to the place, and I'm like, being the gentleman, I'm like, and also just young and totally have no clue what the hell I was doing. I was like, can I kiss you? I had to do the gentleman ask. And she just looks at me like, really? Like, why are you even asking? And so I kiss her, and I did not like it for the record, but I kiss her, and she was chewing gum, and that flavor was juicy fruit gum.
Oh, it's my favorite.
I immediately was like, okay, God, I see you. This is my sign. I'm a fruit, and I do not like this.
What a cute! Yeah. That was a cute story. Mind you, I grew up in Texas, so rodeos are really fun. So I could.
We should go to the gay rodeo.
Is there a gay rodeo?
That would be so much fun. Yes, there's like a legitimate gay rodeo.
How am I not a part of that? Like, seriously.
It's in Texas.
Oh, how do I not know that? Seriously, I didn't know that. Wow. Well, anyway, what a fun story. Like, cute. Juicy fruit is one of my favorite gums. So I actually have a airbrush dress that say juicy fruit on it. I haven't worn it in such a long time. There's a song I do called Juicy Fruit. Some of you people may know it, some may not.
Ooh.
Okay, so I just want y'all to know this was a setup for me. I'm way much older and than Kurtis, and so my first kiss was probably like 20 decades ago. So I can't remember. I wasn't trying to remember. I was blowing my mind out today trying to say, who did I kiss first? Where did I kiss? I don't know. Honestly. I do know that I love to kiss. Is one of my favorite things to do. It get the mood going and the juices
Ooh.
flowing. It's one of my favorite things to do. If you cannot kiss, won't nothing be happening. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna tell my story of the worst kiss ever. The worst kiss ever was a young man that I really liked, and he had everything: the body, the package, the buns, you know. But first time kissing him was a turn off, and we dated. We
Oh.
dated for a while, so every time we went to kiss, I I couldn't do it. It was just a turn off for me. And it was I'm explaining to y'all what kind of kiss it was. You know how when you kiss and you French kiss and you lock tongues and you twirl. He did this thing where it was like a turtle sticking his head out of a shell. If you can picture that, that's what it was going
Oh
in and out
gosh.
of my mouth. And I was like, this is gross and such a turn off.
Can you demonstrate? I need you to
I
like show
I
us.
I can try, I can try. It was like
Oh my gosh, no.
I can't believe I did that on camera. It's
Oh, wow,
I
yeah.
call it the peking turtle. That's what I called it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah.
So kissing was out of the game. Kissing was out the game for us. I you know, it was I couldn't do it.
See, like, some people don't like to kiss, but then there's those that, like, think they're great kissers, and they do, like, the turtle
Yeah.
or, and it's just like,
Well,
we don't have to kiss."
I know I'm a great kisser, and I love to kiss. It's kissing is so passionate, like it gets the mood started. So if you can't, if we begin and that don't happen for me, that will be no magic. I'm sorry. And so I'm tortured, and that turtle, the peking turtle, lives rent free in my head.
I can only imagine after seeing that beautiful demonstration of, I don't wanna experience that,
Yeah,
so speaking of magic, we have our guest today is the host of William and the Magic Box.
yeah,
He is from the UK, and he's interviewed over 500 plus people, mostly, I would say, LGBTQ individuals from all across the globe,
right.
and just kind of talks to them to let them tell their story as well. So you can find a lot of that kind of stuff on YouTube.
Hmm.
But one of the games he plays is this rapid fire game where he says a random word and you have to say the first thing that comes to
Oh
mind.
Lord.
Um,
Oh.
so I thought it would be fun for us to just do that with like 3 words today.
Oh, another setup, y'all.
You got to say like the first few words to come to mind. No explanation.
Just
We'll
the
maybe do some
okay,
yeah,
okay,
maybe do some explanations after we get through, but like it's the first things that come to mind.
okay.
Okay.
Let me tell y'all, Curtis be practicing. He's not fair. So he practiced, and I just get thrown in the loop. Hold on, I gotta tie my hair up for this. Okay.
Speaking of, we look very sporty today. That was our
Yes.
go-to look is sporty spice, and I don't know what I would be. I don't think I'd be spice, but sporty sugar. I don't know.
Just sporty, like just sporty. I mean, we look like we're attempting to work out.
We look good. I don't know if we're working out, but we look
Okay,
good.
I mean, y'all know I'm a goofball, so here we go. Boat.
Skiing. That's the first thing I think of. All right, for you, I'm gonna do romance.
Kissing.
All
I mean, we just
right.
talked about it. So,
Yeah.
um, let's do grapes.
New Year's. I'll explain that in a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Yours is thought. THOT. Thought.
Oh.
These facial reactions are great.
um. Oh, boys. uh,
Okay.
it's a hard
All right.
game.
It is. You gotta just first thing that comes to mind.
Okay, my last one is, oh my God, I can't believe I thought of this. Beaver.
Beep. That's all I'm gonna do on that one. That's what I thought of. Because I'm not saying that word that you're trying to get me to say.
uh, uh,
Oh Lord, yeah, I'm definitely not saying that word. All right, your last one is mistake.
oh, mistake. I can't think of nothing. Okay, mistake. Dating.
Y'all
Oh.
got, yeah, y'all got to see the facial expressions that just happened over the course of that. Because like, go to Spotify, watch the video, because that was like, you could just like the shell shock of both of us in some of these
It's
words. Like you
it's
just,
hard, like, to think of
yeah,
these
it's like,
things.
well, because like you hear the word and then you immediately go, okay, what am I can't even think right now of
Right,
anything.
right,
So
right.
yeah.
Oh, that was so fun.
Well, I guess we should talk about maybe a few of those,
Okay.
like what our
Well,
answers
first of all,
were.
let's talk about these
Uh,
grapes and New Year's. I want to see how
so,
great you got great New Year's from grapes. Okay, tell me this story, please.
all right. So grapes is like a New Year's food. Like it's you're supposed to eat 12 grapes when the clock strikes midnight. And that's something that Amy and I always do. So anytime I think of grapes, I'm like immediately like associate it with New Year's because we always eat the
I
grapes.
didn't know
So
that. I didn't know that. That's
yeah.
okay.
Hmm. So
I
yeah.
love grapes, like seriously, but I didn't know that you're supposed to eat 12 grapes. I know that,
I
like,
think it
in
brings luck
oh,
or
okay, so
fortune,
I know,
one of the
like,
two.
in the African American community, we do black eyed peas, so I don't know if that's for
Hmm.
everybody. So, like, my
Yeah.
parents, my grandmother would make black eyed peas, for New Year's. So, because that's supposed to bring good luck or whatever they talk
Yeah.
about. I haven't eaten
Yeah,
that.
there's all
Well,
kinds of like different foods and traditions and like I think you would have to have like a full feast of food to like cover all the different cultures of what they believe and
listen, I haven't
so
had a black eyed pea since I was 10. So, clearly, having no luck been coming this way.
uh, maybe that's what's
I
wrong.
don't
Maybe
like,
maybe we need to get you some black-eyed peas.
maybe. I mean,
or or you can come to our side and eat
eat
grapes. That's
grapes.
we'll
Yeah.
allow it.
Well, I
Yeah.
keep grapes in the refrigerator anyway.
So I said mistake
Uh-huh.
and you said boys or no dating.
Date.
So why did you think of
I
dating
mean,
immediately?
I mean,
Are you saying that you've had a lot of
I
mistakes in
made
the
a
recent
lot of
past?
mistakes. Yes. So dating, and I'm not gonna say just me. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was the problem too, and they were the problem. So, but that was the first thing that came to my head when you said that was dating.
I mean, I think that's a pretty common first thought when you think of mistakes is like all your exes. Like that immediately comes into mind, right?
Yeah, I need to go back and watch these facial expression because I feel like I'm gonna be a meme.
Oh, they were great. They were wonderful. And I'm sure my facial expression when you say the words like beaver
uh,
just immediately made me blush probably. So,
you could have not said the word. There's a song, popular song that's out. You could have said
my neck, my back, my
not
beep.
not.
That's what
Oh, you went way back. I,
yeah, that's where I was
oh
going,
no,
like,
I'm talking about Cardi B and Megan. Wop 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 wop.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
you want
Yep,
that?
that would have been a
That's
good
all I
way
can
to
say.
mhm.
Wop 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 wop.
Yep, that
Okay.
would have been a good explanation too. Maybe that's what we need to do, like, we need to not talk about what we think, but, like, associate it with the song
Yeah.
next time,
Well, that's
like
oh my god. I think that would be
immediate
either
song.
easy or hard. So I don't know. Probably
Oh,
easy
yeah.
for me because I
We'll
listen to
try.
a lot of music. So
Yeah, I listen to older music, so I don't know, it'd be fun, we might try it sometime.
well, my Pandora is a genre of everything. I can go from
Yeah.
listening to WAP and then the next song gonna be praising him in the church, which is horrible. Which is
You're one of those that, like, we see, like, rolling down the road and you're singing WAP, and then you go into, like, gospel spiritual and
right. That and then you'd be like,
singing in the
"What's wrong
car.
with that woman, honey? She's shouting and throwing her hands up." And there was a show. There was a show many, many years ago. People may remember it. It was on MTV or VH1. One of them is called Motor Mouth. I would have loved to done that show with you. It was a show that it was kinda corny. You got your best friend to y'all rent a car, but they had a camera in the car, so you had to get your best friend to sing and belt out songs while you were driving, and it was a neat show. I would have loved to done that show. That would have been a fun show to do.
That would have been a
And it
blast.
was kinda corny because it's kinda corny because it's like, okay, you get in the car and your best friend they're like, "Where are we going?" They were like, "Oh, ain't this your song? You should sing it." I'm like, "Oh my god, seriously?"
We may have to just do that for the fun of it and post it, so
Well, that'll be on our next road trip.
yeah. Alright, well, one thing we wanted to do this time because we haven't done it in a little while is our little Weathering Rainbows, segment
Mhm,
where we talk about something that's kind of been bothering us or just something we wanna get off our
mhm,
chest or talk about, discuss, etcetera. Um, I'm gonna let you kick off today
mhm.
on that if you've got the topic that you want to discuss.
I just kinda I think we don't talk about health, a lot. So like my thoughts and what I want to talk about today is like making sure people um do regular checkups and um
Yeah,
know when your body is like warning you because your body do warn you about
yeah,
things. Me being 46, I'm still like I was just like the other day, a girlfriend and I were at the restaurant eating and I had the menu and I wear prescription glasses, so I still had to lift up the glasses to get close to the menu. So I think I can see far away, but I can't see close up, which is kind of crazy
yeah,
because I feel like the older I get, the badder my eyes get. So, but that's just not just eyes. It's like your body just start breaking down as you get older. Me and my girlfriend was talking about we can't eat the things we used to eat because my girlfriend is we're both trying to like lose weight and trying to eat healthy this year. And
yeah,
she's like, I'm working so hard in the gym and I don't feel like I'm losing. So she had a uh she broke down and was like, I'm just gonna eat whatever the F I want. And it's hard because,
yeah,
once you get at that age, it's hard to fight all that stuff back off. So, my
yeah,
thing is, I just want to make sure mental health too, not just physical health, mental health as well. We want to make sure
mhm,
that, you're talking to somebody, not just a therapist, like just talking. And if something's bothering you, or, sometimes just talking to people can help, with mental work.
yeah,
Because I find myself thinking about I hold a lot. So it's hard for me to be a celebrity in this city. Uh, for one of the reasons why I don't get on Facebook and social media a lot because there's a lot of things I want to say, my opinion, but the being in the community, a leader in the community and the club that I work for, I can't be honest and say a lot of things. So,
right, you
and
have
I
to
can't
remain
talk
filtered for
about a
sure.
lot of things. So I just want to make sure that we are mental health. We're talking about if something's bothering you, somebody makes you mad or angry, you're not holding that stuff in. You're calling somebody and saying, "Hey, this this happened to me today. This pissed me off today. I just want to talk about it."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
because that just somebody listening, it definitely goes a long way. So what I'm working on is um I told you about the incident that happened to me last week. Um, it could have been it escalated because I didn't think before I turned around. I just turn around and start screaming, you know.
Right.
And then I instead of me turn around and you know, figuring out, okay, was this out of anger? Was this out of hate? Was this push out of, anything? I just turn around and start screaming. So that's my thing with that whole week is like I have to start controlling the situation, evaluating the situation first before it as I because I go from 0 to 100 quick.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something like we are all reactionary to an extent based on things that like have happened to us in our
Mhm.
past. And being in the situation that you were in, like that kind of stuff has happened to you for negative reasons
Mhm.
in the past, so you're automatically going to go back to that like defensive mode,
Mhm.
of like protecting yourself and standing up for yourself. So I don't think that's unusual or something out of the norm that you did.
Mhm.
I think it's just whenever you're dealing with those kind of situations, you have to constantly think, okay, am I in a safe environment? Do I have people that are
Yeah.
there that can help protect me if it is a bad situation? Um, and maybe that kind of will put you at ease so that you don't have that feeling to react in those ways.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, mental health and physical health, I mean, especially this time of year,
Yeah.
we're in the middle of winter,
Yeah.
like it's been a horrible winter
Yeah.
in comparison to some of our last few. It's really cold right now, and seasonal affective disorder and stuff like that
Yeah.
starts to pop up.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, we're in gay culture, so we're
Yeah.
all worried about our bodies, like all of us are constantly worried about like how we look and how we present. And I think all those are things that, definitely should be talked about in this section.
Yeah.
They're things that we're all weathering.
20s and 30s, we're just enjoying life
Hmm.
and just having a good time. So we're not even thinking about bodies and stuff. So it don't hit until you get, past that late 30s and you're like, man, things are changing. So I'm just what I want to say to the listeners, like, while you're young and you're fit, try to keep up with that.
Yeah, it's always easier to do when you're younger, for
Yeah,
sure.
and or some people, honestly, some people are just naturally toned and skinny,
Yeah,
and I mean, so
yeah.
it's
Me, if I eat a biscuit, it's going right to my rear end. So
uh
I
so
uh I
I
feel
just
it.
want to, and my conclusion with this is like, take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your mind, just make sure that you're taken care of. My whole thing with this is that, that situation bothered me for 2 days, and I shut down for 2 days, not talking to nobody, and I was miserable,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
so I have to speak upon it to make so I don't feel that way. Cause I went into a
right.
deep depression, cause I was like, I don't want to be,
Well, you're replaying it in your
yeah,
mind, so
constantly.
much that
Yeah.
it's just constantly going. And until you release it, until you talk to somebody about it
Yeah.
and say, okay, was it me or did this actually happen?
Yeah.
Because sometimes even if something bad does happen, we still need that affirmation to be like, was this actually bad? Is it the way that I'm seeing
Yeah.
it? So I definitely understand where you're coming from on that.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I guess mental health was a good topic for you because that's similar to what I wanted to go and
Hmm.
discuss. For me, I think the beginning of the year always reminds me of like, it's kind of a reflection period of like, am I on the right track in life? Am I doing what needs to be done to better myself, or am I on the right path of what I want to accomplish? Because you know me, I'm very goal oriented.
Yeah.
Um, and I've honestly, like, this month has been brutal for me just because I think for a while I've been struggling with my identity to the extent of like, how much should I be serious versus how much should I be comedic?
Hmm.
And how do both of those things like help further the things that I'm wanting out of life? Because as an attorney, I have to be serious
Yes.
most of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
People don't want you going up and joking about something whenever they're on
trial
a
for
murder
something.
trial,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
like
yeah. No,
so
I get that. I get
that ain't funny to them, you
yeah.
know, for some reason.
Yeah.
But then there's the other side that's like where it's like you don't want to be so serious that you're almost unapproachable, or that people tune you out. Um, so it's been a real struggle for me to like consider this balance of
Yeah.
like what areas in my life am I going to be more serious, what areas do I need to be more comedic in, um, and frankly like even with this show, like what our purpose is, and where do we want to go from here into season 3.
Hmm.
I think we both kind of discussed some things that we would like to
Yeah.
see different, and become more educational in ways, and become more like empathetic, I guess, in ways.
Yeah.
Um, we want to answer listener letters and do those kind of things in season 3. And so, yeah, so mental health, I agree completely. That's what I've been struggling with.
Yeah. Well, and I think, the lawyer side of you, I definitely agree that you should definitely be that serious side. I honestly think like when we're around friends in the groups and stuff, I think you're fun. So that's what you know, I just like to see you let your hair down and have a good time, and because you work so hard, with the podcast, and lawyer and every other else
Mhm.
thing that you do, like the when we're in a group setting, you know just have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy slogan, you know. But I definitely I have felt that
Yeah.
tremendously, just getting ready for everything. And even though we're gonna have a month off soon with this podcast, uh, we're still gonna be working behind the
Yeah.
scenes, so and creating something spectacular for season 3. So I'm really excited. Some of the things I already know are coming are just going to be a great addition to the
Yeah.
show. So, well, um, I guess it's time that we kick it over to the interview. Today, as I've said before, we have William from William and the Magic Box coming all the way from the UK. I do want to forewarn everybody that the audio quality may be a little less than our norm, just because of the distance and the equipment that had to be used to make this come about. So, without further ado, William from William and the Magic Box.
Yes, William, what's in your box?
Howdy, y'all. We are back with another episode of Weathering Rainbows. Today we have a guest from overseas, someone who I consider a friend over the past few years. He is doing some amazing things, meeting and introducing himself to people all across the world. And so I am going to have William introduce himself and tell a little bit about what he does.
Hello, everyone. So my name is William. I'm originally from Brazil, but I've been living in the UK, in London, for the last 16 years. And I was living in Portugal before as well. So I've been in Europe for the last 20 years now. And so, yes, it's been a beautiful journey. I left Brazil when I was 19. And I've been living in Europe more than I was in Brazil, actually. So
Yeah.
it's been a great journey. And I've got a beautiful channel called William the Magic Box, where I have the opportunity to connect with people around the globe. And so people have the chance to share their point of views, their memories in life, what they do for living. And the whole part of the show is just for people to connect with each other around the globe. And I had the pleasure of Kurtis participating in the show last year, which was
Yeah.
a present for me, because it was so nice to connect to someone full of energy, a lot of story to tell, and he left a beautiful message on the show.
Yeah. And I had an absolute blast being on William and the Magic Box. For those of you that haven't, go check it out on YouTube. It is a YouTube show, and he has interviewed people. I think you're over 300 now, right?
Almost 500 now.
Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, so he interviews a lot more people than we do for this show, and people from all over the world. From what I have seen and watched, it's always very entertaining, and I enjoy the show. So, With that, I want to jump into your story. Tell us about, obviously, growing up where you grew up. What was LGBTQ culture like there?
Right. So where I come from, I'm Brazilian. I think Brazil, we are very Christian, very Catholic. So I was very lucky. I remember being a child. I remember when I started discovering myself, about my feelings, about my desires. And actually, I was very connected with the church. My mom thought I would be a priest because I just loved being the church, singing, just being part of the community. But being gay, I realized that something was wrong in my thought, because I was following the society way of approaching life, approach how it should be, or how you should, follow the rules of the society. And I realized that something was going in a different direction. And I remember as a child, like praying not to have those feelings, like feeling attracted to men or have those emotions that wasn't right in other people's eyes. And I remember as a kid, like literally praying for not to have those feelings. And I was like, my God, that's not right. It's not, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't have this attraction for boys. But so I always kept that with me. I never talked to anyone about it. And but I was very lucky because my parents, even though they never talked about it, they never mentioned about anything about that, because they didn't have knowledge anyway as well. It's always happened with the neighbors, with somebody far away from you on TV, but it never happened to your family, never happened to your household. Anyway, so I was very young. When I was 19, I moved to Portugal, and there where I start alone. That's where I start my gay life. Which Portugal is a country that's not very open still. I think is the same Brazilian culture as well, even more strong. People there are more, close-minded out there at the time. So for me, I was very lucky because I didn't have any suffering of anything. I didn't go through any bad situations. I always had this free spirit, and I must say that I never had any kind of issues. But I know how much, like, being from back in Brazil, I'm not sure nowadays. Nowadays, I think people, they are more open-minded. But like in the 80s, in the 90s, when I was growing up, the information wasn't there. That was something that we never talked about it. I remember even here the word gay at home, or even LGBTQ. I never heard that word before. So that's why for me, I wasn't sure what was happening with me at the time, and I didn't have any support, and I didn't know who to talk to, because I didn't know what was going on. I never had any information and support. So that's but again, I think being a free spirit, that I was very involved in sports as well. I think I was very focused on that. That's what kind of got my direction, and I wasn't too much involved in that, I must say.
Yeah.
But I must say I was very lucky that I could be myself, even though I didn't have any knowledge, but I could be myself at the time. And sometimes, of course, dealing with bullying as well. I think I was a feminine child. I had some moments but again, I never felt like, I never kind of put myself in a bad direction. I just was like playing volleyball for years. I was playing volleyball. I was focused on that. So sometimes when I was feeling sad or being bullied because of the situation, I was focused on my sports. I was focused on being busy with my life. So I was quite lucky.
Right. That's one of the things I call the achiever category. It's when LGBTQ people growing up, they don't really know what's going on, so they really focus on achievement, playing sports and getting involved in various things. And obviously you were very involved in the church. So what are some things positive that you got from your church experience and the ways that it has kind of influenced you today?
I think be a good person, be approachable, even though there was, fun enough, sometimes when I was feeling sad for some situations, I found peace in the church. Fun enough, I just like the vibe of being the church. I think the songs around, the energy, people clapping, all people connected, even though there's a lot of things, negativity about religion, but even though I think as a child, I felt comfort. I found a lot of comfort there because I was in a good place. I just felt happy being there. That's why my mom started thinking that I could be a priest. I didn't have the gift. I couldn't be a priest, but she was sure that, okay, he's going to be a priest because I was there all the time. I was helping the priest as well during the mass. And I think just the good energy around. I didn't see any rules there. I think there was something maybe the society out there was saying that was wrong. But over in the church, I just was involved with the music, with the energy, with the people. So that's why I think I found the comfort being gay there. Even though I think I'm sure priests and people involved in the church, work in the church, they could see that I was gay. But even though I never felt like excluded, I think they kind of comfort me at the time. That's why I mentioned I was very lucky, because I never had a situation where I was put away from the church or place where I wanted to be. I love being in there. So I never had a situation that I was avoided or, you know what I mean, treated differently at the other kids. Because it was visible, I was gay, it was visible that I was a gay boy. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's something a lot of us go through that are in the church. We all have that, that we might become a preacher or a priest. And I always tell people, you know, it's kind of interesting because I think we all kind of did turn into priests in our own ways. So, you know, both of us have a show, you know, that we kind of, you know, bring people's stories out, which is really, I think, what, you know, the love and religion and stuff is all about. So with that, I do want to talk specifically about your experience with William and the Magic Box. Tell people how that got started, and then we'll go from there.
Right. I think that I believe that all of us, everyone in the planet, I think all of us, we have different talents. I think all of us, we can do different things in our lives. I think if you look for it, there is always something that we are capable to do it. You know, it doesn't matter which area, it doesn't matter what it's about, but I believe that you can do a lot. But fun enough, growing up, I've always had these doubts in me. When I remember talking to friends, to people around, they were like, oh, I love my job. I love what I do. I came to do that in my life. That's what I was born for. And I was like, oh, yes, I was listening to that. I admired. And I was thinking to myself, my God, I couldn't say. Of course, I couldn't be different things. I could follow different careers. But deep inside in my own thoughts, I was like, no, there's something there that I would like, but I couldn't find. Anyway, so one day, last year, in 2020, when the world went literally upside down, everyone was going through a lot of challenge times. And of course, at the time as well, I think the positive part of it, a lot of people, they found different ways of living, a lot of creativity as well. And I went to a run in the park, and suddenly I was like, this idea just literally came to my mind. And I literally stopped in the middle of my run. I looked it up, I was like, my God, what's happening now? And I literally, this idea... Literally, I remember the place where I was running the park at the time. And actually, fun enough, I was going through a very tough time at the time as well, because I think COVID situation does, put a lot of people in a dark place. And I was in a very challenged time as well, where I was trying to find my way on that period, and I couldn't. Anyway, so this idea just came along in a very genuine way, and I couldn't believe. I couldn't stop. From that day on, I arrived home and I started making notes, and I started to put everything together. But when people ask me when the idea came along, fun enough, when I look back, this podcast, this interaction that I do through the Magic Box, it's something that I've always done in my life. As a child, as a teenager, as an adult, when I look back, I remember going on holidays. Still, even before when I started the show, when I was going on holidays or barbecues or meeting for different occasions, in the end of the night, I was like, oh, tell me something interesting about your childhood. What's your best memories as a teenager? This kind of interaction. Always done. I've always been doing that. Of course, in a very small proportion, not in worldwide and in front of the camera. So this is me. This is when I think about it, it's something that I've always done. I always, been interacting with people, and if I would see somebody doing this, what I'm doing this show, I would be like, oh my God, I'd love to be doing that. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So I feel very fortunate. I feel very lucky. And now I can tell, when I ask myself, my God, now I can tell that's what I was born to. That's what I came to this world for. It's for that. It's to be able to connect with people around the globe and to be able to let them share their stories in life. So that is what the Magic Box is about. And how did it start? It literally came in a very genuine way through a tough time that I was facing at the time.
Yeah, I always love hearing those epiphany moments, whenever it just stops people in their tracks and totally changes their life's direction. So I love that story. Now, obviously, it does come natural to you. I think you're a very good interviewer, and
thank you.
But obviously, there are going to be things with creating a show, and I've learned this myself, that you can't do on your own. So, do you have a team that helps you?
Right. I have when I start the show. Right. I'm gonna start. I remember the same way as I approached you at the time, like through social media. I remember when I start put things together, I want to get someone who could guide me, who could give me like a support as a producer or a TV producer, someone who with more ability, because I didn't have any information, I didn't have any knowledge about it. I have the whole project in my mind, but I didn't have I didn't know how to talk in front of the camera, I didn't know how to organize everything. Anyway, so I started sending out message online. When I was checking profiles, like invite to the show, I saw some producers, and I sent, I think, for 4 different producers around the world, and was one of them. His name is Manfred, and he's from Austria. And that's the first time when I approached him, and he was very approachable. He just said to me, "Okay, William." I started saying everything about the show. He was like, "Oh my God, there's so much information. Just write everything in a paper. Write everything in a paper, like the first show, everything, and we can start from there." So I just started to write down everything on the show, what was about the show, and I sent off to him by mail, and he just got back to me and said, "Okay, it sounds good. I like the idea, but I would like to now just to try and see how it can happen. Let's see what's going to happen." That was the breaking ice, because I had everything in my mind, but sit down in front of the camera, put the lights on. That's when I was like, it took me like 2 or 3 times that I tried to do it, and it didn't come out like naturally. But
right.
So yeah, back to your question. So he kind of guided me from the beginning with the idea. Yeah, and I've got a friend of mine who helps me with the thumbnails as well. When I do the interviews with people around the globe, I get some pictures from them, and this friend of mine, he's the one who organized the thumbnails and the banners as well that I promote every day on my social media. Also, I have got another good friend of mine as well who does the same as well. Sometimes he helps with the thumbnails, sometimes he helps me with the editing as well. So mostly, and I've got my best friend in Canada who's the one who created the website. It was a present because he works with IT. And when I came up with the idea for him, he was like, "Okay, you know what, William, I'm going to organize a website for you." I was like, I wasn't even thinking about that. And he organized the website. But right now, to be honest to you, Kurtis, right now I am doing, let's say, almost everything. I'm doing the interviews, I'm still contacting the people, I'm doing the editing, I'm putting the music on, I'm still doing a lot. But I've got one friend of mine who's organized me with the thumbnails. He's the one who helps me with the thumbnails. He loves pictures, and he's doing that for me. Plus my best friend as well, who's organize the website, like updating and everything. But I'm let's say we are 3 of us kind of, but I'm the one who's involved in everything at the moment.
Yeah, and that's incredible that you are able to keep up with that many interviews. Just doing what we do, and we release once a week, I can't imagine how much you do on a daily basis to keep this show afloat. So I admire that. And you've interviewed right at 500 people. What are what have you gotten out of that? Like, what are have you experienced the heartbreak? Have you experienced, the comedic moments? Like, what all have you gotten from doing 500 interviews with people from across the globe?
Right. I think one of the main keys and one of the main privilege that I feel about it doing those interviews is about the energy of the people around the globe. And I must say, it's people that are so fascinating. I think people, random people around the globe, they have so much story to share. They have so much moments and stories in their lives that they never thought that people would face the same way as well in another part of the globe. And I think the most, I think I've learned every interview, I get something from it. Doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
Could be a story, could be a lesson, could be some tears, could be some emotions, could be some life lessons. They have no idea how much. And sometimes people, they get so connected, sometimes they forget that they are on TV, we are recording,
Right.
you know what I mean? They open up so much. And sometimes when I'm doing the editing, that's what I see. I said, oh my God, sometimes I double check with them some topics if they would like me to take it out, or because I can see how genuine they are about the show and how much they are sharing. They feel like safe on the show talking to me, and that's what I feel grateful as well, because people, they talking to me, I can see how much they're just open up about their lives. They're open up. They even forget sometimes that they are being recorded. I think it's about the trust as well. But one of the very main thing I would say is sometimes I do 8-9 interviews per day, depends in the, you know what I mean, the day. I do 9 interviews. Of course, physically, one point you get tired. At one point you go like, okay, you know, it's not like I cannot. At one point is visible. I feel that being tired, but as soon as I put the camera on, when I see the other people, like for them, it's like they are just doing for the very first time. When I see their eyes like shining, their energy, it just gives me this vibe, and I go like, oh my God, I just feel like I can do another 10. You know what I mean? Just feeling their energy, their vibe, and they're genuine as well. They're how genuine they are about talking to me. I think that's what makes me like just literally, okay, I can do another 10 people easily. It's just the energy, the kindness as well, and the trust. I think the trust is the main thing about they trust me. They talk about things that they feel safe. I think that's the most important thing that I get from my guests on the show.
Yeah. And you've watched these people grow over time. I mean, you've been at this for, a little over a year. And what is that experience like to watch people grow from afar? Like, has there been anybody that like you interviewed and then they went on to kind of become famous, or, like do something that like people started to recognize them for, stuff like that? Have you experienced that?
In a bigger proportion, I haven't realized yet. Maybe someone is already there, but I haven't realized yet. But so
no
far,
Lady Gagas or anything, right?
I haven't watched. I haven't put the TV on. I've seen. Oh my God! I've seen this guy was one of my guests. Haven't happened yet. But what I've realized so far, Kurtis, is people again. I've seen so many people connect with each other, and sometimes when I invite someone like to the show, or sometimes what makes my day is when I go on social media and I invite a random person, and I just say, oh hello, I would like to invite you for a project on YouTube. They go like, is the magic box? You have no idea. My heart just explodes. And I go like, oh my God, how do you know that? Anyway, but I think the most what I have seen between like people, I've seen some people connect with each other. I've seen some people doing some work between them, like, I don't know, some promotion. I've seen some people like maybe model, maybe acting, and somehow they are connecting with, because of the show, they are connecting with each other, doing maybe some projects between them. I've realized that some people, they are connecting with each other. That's for sure. But yeah. I haven't seen anyone like, so far, I don't know, I haven't seen anyone, but I'm sure in the future, I can't wait for those people to get better.
Yeah. Out of as many interviews as you do, it's bound to happen eventually where you flip on the TV and you go, I interviewed them back before they were famous, so I look forward to seeing that. So let's switch over and talk a little bit more about your, we are an LGBTQ podcast, so I like to discuss a little bit about that. Who are some of your LGBTQ influencers, people that you looked up to as you were coming out?
Right. I think there is, I'm going to go back to my childhood. I think when I mentioned before that I'm very lucky, and I was very lucky to be growing up in a country where people that are very close about sexuality, about being gay. But at the same time as well, there is a Brazilian entertainer called Xuxa, Xuxa. She's one of the biggest idols, like in Brazil in the 80s. I think every Brazilian person knows who she is. And for the gay community, she's still very, very popular and very supportive as well, because she, as a child, I think I remember her show, her program was for children, yeah. And even though for the same time as well, I think gay people, they love seeing this colorful. I remember she was coming from the Starship every morning, and this Barbie was coming every, like the Starship was opening, and she was coming from the Starship, this beautiful Barbie, you know what I mean, full of. So I think Xuxa, she's a Brazilian entertainer who I look it up for, and she's always been a idol for me. She's the one who always taught me how to follow my dreams. And I think be yourself. It doesn't matter what you like or you don't, but I think there's always a positive message. I think Xuxa, yeah, Brazilian, in a worldwide, let's say, big proportion. I would go for, of course, the big ones like Madonna, you know, Lady Gaga.
Of course.
I think that all of them, they have a big impact in all of us for sure. But if I would go that, I think I would go for Britney Spears. For some reason, Britney, through her songs, through her, you know what I mean? I don't know if because we are the same age, I don't know. I remember growing up and knowing that this beautiful girl around my age as well, she was exploding around the world with those messages. And of course, an icon. I think I would, you know what I mean, look it up for Britney Spears, and I just liked her. But of course, at the same time as well, I think it comes all of them, as I mentioned, Madonna, you know, Christina Aguilera, or these big idols, not just the female, but the male side. Michael Jackson. I think Michael Jackson as well. I always look it up for him. So I would say all of them. I think most of them. But Britney Spears, they had something in my teenage, I don't know, I always look it up for her.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned her, because one of the like, they did a study on how people learn English that are from foreign countries, and Britney Spears music was actually one of like the number one ways that people learn English. So
wow,
I think that's really cool. Yeah. Yeah, wild that, you know, how music helps people learn that, but that's awesome.
Yes.
So obviously when did you come out? I know you kind of didn't understand about like what gay was and stuff like that. Was there ever a pivotal moment where you were like, I'm gay?
Yes, I think as a I'm gonna say something very personal about myself. I remember as a teenager, before I left Brazil, I was 18, almost 19 years old. It's a teenager thing. I'm sure all of us, we go through that situation. For example, I remember I was virgin at the time, 18. I was still virgin. I've had sex with a girl or with a boy. I mean, of course, as a teenager, like younger, I'm sure I remember, you know what I mean, having these things with your cousins. I think all of us go through the situation anyway. But being like sexual. I remember when I was 19 years old. Before 19, I had in my mind that I want to lose my virginity. I want to have sex with a girl. I just had this thing with me, like personal thing, because I remember my friends, they were like, oh, I'm not virgin anymore. I had sex with a girl. And as a teenager, you know, all of us at the time, we have these things like, oh, and I thought, okay, I knew that I liked boys with no information about being gay. I didn't have any information at the time, but for some reason, I just want to prove myself that I would like to not to be virgin anymore, to lose my virginity. And I had sex with a girl, as she was older than me, and actually I paid for it. It's very embarrassing, because I just wanted to not be virgin anymore. Anyway, she came along. I did the job. And from that day, I was like, I felt so relieved that I had sex with a girl. That day it was the only time I had sex with a girl, but I knew that I was gay. I knew I was all gay, even without information. I knew I liked boys. I even didn't have any knowledge about sexuality, how things were at the time. Saying that, I always knew from this time, like 19, 18, I would say 19 years old. When I moved to Portugal on my own as 19 years old, that's when I felt, okay, I'm myself. I'm gonna be myself now 100%. You know, being alone in a country where we don't know anyone, you are far away from your family, from friends. Then when I realized, okay, I'm gay. I would say 19 years old. I would say when I said, okay, I'm gay now, I can be, if someone would ask me about that, I would be comfortable talking about like being gay. I would say that. Coming out, I just came out. I think every parent, they know their child very well, even though doesn't matter how you've been raised. I think every parent, even if they don't want to know, but they know their child very well. So I think my parents, they always knew that I was gay. I think they never talk about between them. They never talk about it for sure, but they knew that I was gay. But I just talked to my mom about it, let's say 6 years ago, through WhatsApp. I literally, my ex-boyfriend, he was very open to his family. He grew up in a very different way. Just for you to have an idea, the first time he went to a gay club, he was like 16 or 14 years old, and his mom took him there for the very first time.
Oh, wow.
Yes, his mom
That's
took
amazing.
him. It's amazing. And so imagine, have a relationship with someone very open like that. One day I just felt like, okay, literally, I never had the pressure of saying anything. I never felt this, oh, I need to tell my mom, I need to tell my family. I don't know why. I think it's because I've been living on my own for so long. I never had this pressure of saying I was gay. Anyway, one day I said, okay, that's going to be the day now. I took my phone. I said, I'm going to send a WhatsApp test to my mom. So I sent to my mom a test. Mom, are you free? Can you have a talk? And she was like, yes. When she said that, I was like, oh my God, now is the time. It's the time now. So what I did, I went around. I was like, Mom, do you know when you were born, you don't choose to be black, white, you don't choose to be a girl, to be a boy? And she was like, yes, I know that, but what's going on? What's happening? So I was going around, never get to the point. And one point I said to her, Mom, I think you know what I'm talking about, aren't you? But her reply was the best. She just sent a message to me like that. Is about your sexuality or I'm wrong? When she said that my message, I just took the phone straight away and I called her, and she was laughing. She was literally laughing over the phone. She was, oh my God.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she was laughing. She was like, oh my God. I was laughing so much because I could see you're going around, but you never got to the point. And that's why she was laughing. After that, and we started laughing together as well. And she said, my son, of course, I always knew. I just give you space for you to be yourself. I never felt the need of you telling me anything because I know you very well. And if one day you talk to me about it, I'll be here as I am right now. But if you didn't as well, I would understand because it's your life. And I was very surprised about her like explanation or the way her point, because I was expecting her to say, okay, I love you, and that's it. But no, she was just giving on and on and on. And I was very surprised about that. And she always been a very supportive mom. Like, even though as a child, I never talked to her about that. But as an adult now, I always had this openness to talk to her anytime.
Well, that's truly an amazing story. And we love supportive moms. So that's... for her to do that and for her to be as encouraging as she was, I'm sure that was just like a huge feeling of relief for you. I know it was for me whenever I finally told my mom. So I admire your courage to do it. A lot of people don't even reach the coming out phase with their family. So with that, obviously you have been out for a while now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you have had some wild nights, some wild stories from your LGBTQ life. Obviously, our culture is a little different than most. We are very energetic people, and we love to have a good time. So we have a segment on this show called The Heap of Trouble, which is a time in which basically, like, what is your most comedic thing that's happened to you as a gay man?
Right. I had a lot of situations. I think being gay, I think that I had a lot of situations that the first time I got drunk in my life was in London. I think I was 25. Some people go like, how sad. Imagine 25 going drunk for the first time. My birthday, 24, 25. Can be the other way as well, of course.
Yeah.
So I think one of the most wild night that I had as being gay or being open or very comfortable with my sexuality, I think would be the time where, as I said, when I got drunk for the very first time, which I was expecting was my birthday night, and I was with friends around. Was a night out in London, and my friend just came with this shot of sambuca. It's like very sweet, like shots. And Sambuca, I don't know if it's a brand or if the name, anyway, I'm even not sure of the name. So anyway, so it was this kind of liquor, very quite sweet. And so I remember drinking like one by one, and he was bringing me. And one point, I literally literally have the time of my life, like dancing. They were playing like a lot of, I think that every song they were playing like gay songs. I felt like I was all of those pop singers around, because I just felt like, my God, that's freedom. That's, you can be yourself. You can express yourself the way you wanted. I think that night when I got drunk for the first time, that's the moment, that's the moment when I realized, like, oh my God, that's the moment when I realized you can be yourself. You can dance. You can express yourself.
Right.
There are no rules. And that's the moment, I believe.
Yeah,
I remember.
I love that. Yeah, I will agree. The first time you get drunk, it's that feeling of like freedom. It's actually, I always tell people that was one of the clearest moments that I've ever had, was actually when I was drunk and I was decided, hey, I'm going to live my life as a gay male, like I'm going to be open and honest about it. So I think, while I wouldn't encourage a lot of heavy drinking, a lot, I would, it does lead to some fun nights and some good epiphanies, in my opinion.
Sorry, and I must say, when I say those because it was the first time I was getting drunk, so for sure it was like 3 shots and I was already over the place. So it wasn't like
right. Yeah. Since you shared that story, I will share with you my first time drinking, and I drank. It was a liqueur called Hypnotic, which is a blue liqueur drink over here. And I did not know, because I had never really drank before in my life before going to college, that beer was not as potent as liquor.
Right.
So everybody else was playing beer pong, but I was playing with liquor. So I didn't last long at all. And like the next morning, I was like really just hungover and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I will never touch any blue liquor again. so yeah, I totally get those kind of stories. We always like to allow our guests to give some advice to LGBTQ folk out there, especially those that are out in rural areas. Do you have like a list of do's and don'ts, or some advice that you would like to give them?
Right. Yes. Regarding the do and don'ts game, there is a situation. I think when you start your sexual life, or even though when you go, there are so many apps out there now that you can meet people, you can connect with people through apps. You know what I mean? Like, so one of the things that I find unnecessary, let's say, is a big don't for me. For example, of course, all of us, we have our types, you know what I mean? Some people,
right.
And it's okay, it's good, you know what I mean? Of course, all of us, we tend to like this or to like that, or not to like this or to like that. One of the things that I find unnecessary, and to be honest, it makes myself a little bit sad as well, is when you go to those apps, or even like dating app or applications, or there's always like, they go like, you say in the description, oh, don't contact me if you are Asian or Indian or Latino or white or black. I think it's unnecessary that, because the thing is, imagine if you don't like, it's okay if you don't fancy this or that. It's your right, and understand, include us as well. We have our preferences, yeah? But when you express yourself this way, for me, it's unnecessary, because imagine someone goes there in your profile, maybe likes you for some reason, and see like, if you are this, don't contact me, or if you are, do you know what I mean? My point. So I think it's a big don't. Right. If you don't like, it's okay. If this person contacts you and it's not your type, you can tell in private, I'm sorry, I'm not into, or you can use your own words to say that. But when you express yourself there, like visibly on your profile, I think it's a big don't for me. It's a big unnecessary, because actually saying that as well, imagine even people who are your type, yeah, if they see that, they might think, I don't want to be in touch with somebody who has that. So in the end of the day, you are losing as well. In the end of the day, when you express yourself in this negativity way, be clever, be intelligent, not just that, but be kind and be understanding, approachable as well. If you don't like some certain type of people, it's not your type, it's okay, you know what I mean? It's not wrong with that. But at least don't express yourself over there, because it might maybe hurt people, offend people as well, and damage as well our community. Do you know what I mean? I think all of us, we need to be all in one group, in one team, let's say. Do you know what I mean? And I think if you don't like someone, or don't fun someone, it's fine. But just keep to yourself. And if the person contacts you, just say, you know what? I'm not into it, or I'm not up for it. That's fine. The person is going to appreciate and understand you as well. But when you express yourself this way, it causes a lot of negativity as well, because people, they might contact you, and you know what I mean, might approach you in a very negative way, and it can increase like negativity and hate, and I don't think that's necessary. So let's avoid that. I would put this message out.
And I definitely agree with you on that. That's some really good advice, because when people see that, you could potentially ruin, not only potential relationships, but friendships in general. So I definitely agree with you on that. So I'll go ahead and let you continue with some advice.
A big deal regarding the community is, I think the LGBTQ plus community is, I believe, Kurtis, we as a gay community, gay people, I think we achieved a lot. You know what I mean? When you look back in the 80s, in the 70s, my God, we should be grateful for those people who were there, you know what I mean? Stand up and like fighting. I even got goosebumps now talking about that, because I think it was so powerful at the time. They were so brave. They were there. Imagine nowadays, to be yourself it can be already challenging. Imagine at the time, in the 60s, in the 70s, the 80s, it would be even more difficult. What I think is, I think all of us, we need to understand not just the gay community, but all the communities around the world. The thing is, I think gay community, we achieved so much so far. I think we are in a good place. It's still a lot to be improved, but I think we are going the right direction. I have this feeling, I feel that. Even though I remember last year, 2020, a lot of people, they were working from home. I remember a lot of people, and besides that, I remember when was in June was the gay Pride in London, and I remember once the law firm where I work, they send us like this flag on one meeting, a flag or something. Oh, today is a gay. I couldn't believe. It brought me so good a good feeling, knowing that a company, they remind that they made a point of this June, like Pride June month. I was like, my God, what's amazing to see that. And that's why, anyway, saying that, I think we achieved a lot. But what I would like to say, to express myself is, when you let's try to educate people out there. The thing is, if you're gonna fight back when you see hate or people trying to damage our gay community or LGBTQ plus community, don't try to fight in a negative way or the same way they are trying to damage us. Because if you do that, you're going to be in the same category as them. Yeah. Try to educate them. Try to understand that maybe they are like that because of the way they've been raised, because of their religions, or because the way of their society tell them that's what's right and wrong. Please, if you are facing any kind of, let's say, negativity around the gay community, or just try to educate them, just try to understand why they're like that, and just try to put yourself in their shoes, and don't fight the same way. Because if you fight the same way, you're going to be in the same category then, and you're not going to get anywhere. So let's be more approachable and understanding as well. I think that would be, don't fight the same way, because you're not going to get anywhere. So I think we achieved a lot. And if we carry on this way, in this positive way, we're going to go more further.
Kindness always wins out in the end if you stick with it. And, sometimes you do have to walk away from toxic people, but at the same time, it's always keep an open mind that you can eventually educate some of that negativity and bias out of their life, So I agree. We do a segment here on this show called Pot of Gold, which is where you get to ask me any question under the sun, and I will wrap up with one final fun question for you.
Perfect. My question for you would be, Kurtis, first of all, thanks so much for the opportunity. Thanks so much for inviting me to be part of the show. I think it's been such a pleasure to see you again, and to see you doing this beautiful project as well, and just like bring this support for the gay community. I think it's what you're doing. It's just beautiful. Thanks so much for that. My question for you would be, on a date, you're going for a date for the very first time. Tell me 2 don'ts that cannot happen to you for the other side or the other guy, and 2 do as well. 2 don't and 2 do that the guy must have or must not have during your first date.
Oh, 2 do's and don'ts about first dates. I would say if a guy's going on a date with me, number 1 don't be late. That's like a huge one for me. I'm always arrive early type of person. Don't be late. Number 2, I would say don't, and I don't know how to phrase this, but I would say don't be standoffish. And what I mean by that is, like, if my friends come up to us, or if my friends are around, or say we go out for, to go to a drink or something afterwards, don't ignore my friends. So that's 2 big don'ts for me that'll immediately just be like, get you written off. Do's, 1 for me is do compliment me. So that's a big one. And my love language is I like that affirmation, so if you're complimenting my looks or complimenting, anything about me, I feed off of that, so that's just something about me. A second do would be, I would honestly, this is a do for, I think, a lot of people, and it's a complicated do. So say we go to dinner, do always at least offer to pay. And for that reason, I mean, normally I'm more of the, like, I'm a lawyer, I pay 99% of the time, so, but at least always offer to, like, contribute or pay, because that to me shows that you're not just like in it for the money. One final question for you. What has been the most embarrassing thing that has happened to you while recording William and the Magic Box?
Right. Okay. That's actually, I could tell a few stories actually. But the main one was, I remember I did an interview with someone, and this person, so of course, in the end of the show, the person has the chance of asking me a question. Yeah. All right. And the person literally asked me if I was cut or uncut.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That was something that I was expecting, and I was like, I got very nervous, and I was very I didn't know what to say. He put me in the spot, of course. He put me in the spot. I was very embarrassed, like I wasn't expecting, but it's gonna get even more embarrassed now, if you want to know.
Absolutely.
So, I told this person the answer, of course. I said, of course, it didn't go live, this part, of course, but I told the person what was the answer, and this person literally did like this.
Wow, that is
so
something.
that was something that I was like, wow. But I like the challenge. I was never expected to answer that, but you know what I mean. I think the Magic Box is people, they can be themselves, and they can ask anything. But that was a question that I was expecting. It made me feel embarrassed, for sure.
You never know what kind of questions you are going to get from people. That's part of one of the things I love about the show we do as well. I had one person ask me one time, how many times did I have to use makeup to cover up hickeys? So that's So it's just like, you never know what you're going to get, but it's always fun. Well, that is I love that story, William, and I just want to thank you for being on the show here today. I know everybody will get a large pleasure out of hearing your story, as well as if people want to, go check him out on YouTube. It's William and the Magic Box. You can also find him on Instagram, and we will post his Instagram link as well whenever this interview releases. So please go follow him. He's a good friend of mine. He interviews LGBTQ people from all across the globe. I've watched several of them, and they're always really entertaining. So make sure you go check him out. So thank you so much, William, for being here.
Pleasure was all mine. Thanks so much. It was lovely to see you, and good luck with the project. You've been doing a good job. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was a pleasure being on the show.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Don't forget to come on back now. I know we all love a little vibration, so if you are not already, go ahead and subscribe to this podcast. And we will surprise you on occasion with a new release vibration in your pocket. But in the meantime, if you find yourself alone or crossing new horizons along the rainbow trail, and you need a friend or even a laugh to get you through those dark and stormy nights, holler on out to us at www.weatheringrainbows.com, where you can find shelter in the blogs, videos, and other episodes that will hopefully keep you out of a whole heap of trouble. So until next time, y'all, giddy up, be true to yourself, and make the best of life. And wherever the wild tracks may lead you, may the rainbow always touch your shoulder.